Today on In the Woodyard, I'm up north with my brother Kenny and we're where he used to work. This is his woodyard for how many years?
Well, I was with the company for 32 years. I wasn't in the yard for 32 years, but the first 5 years I wasn't here. So whatever that is, 27 years. I think I was here 27 years or something like that.
And your job used to be to pile wood?
Yeah.
Load wood on the trucks?
Millions of cords.
So you said this is only, what, 15 rows here?
16.
16
I mean,
rows?
These rows, if they're piled like back when I used to pile, they're about 900 full cords per row.
900 per row?
Per row. If they're full length. They get shorter as you get this way.
Yeah, we'll walk around. So Kenny retired, how many years ago now? Like 3, 4?
Oh, boy, it's almost 5.
It's 5, yeah.
I didn't retire, I got let go.
Yeah.
The company shut down.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
That happens. Here, this is all hardwood here, right?
It's all hardwood, yep, mixed hardwood.
Mostly maple, looks like.
A lot of maple, a little bit of ash in there I see, black ash, white ash. Mostly maple though. I know they got a limit on how much ash and how much basswood you can have in a load, so it's like 10%, it's not much. So it's gonna be running mostly maple.
Right, and then over here is all the
softwood. This is all softwood, this is all mixed, this is all like everything from hemlock, spruce, balsam, white pine, red pine, jack pine, tamarack, it's all mixed.
Yeah.
And they see right here, this is red pine right here, but and these two poles looking at us here, that's tamarack.
Yep.
That's tamarack, that's tamarack.
And that looks like
that's balsam.
Yeah.
But then the poles are tamarack, but this is spruce right here.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's spruce and balsam, it's both. It's mixed. Yeah, so this is spruce, but this is balsam. This is all balsam.
Yeah. A bunch of wood. What was the most wood you ever had in here at one time? How many?
I think the most we ever had in here one year was 30,000.
30,000 full cords.
30,000, yeah. That was pretty tight that year. Yeah. I was piling higher than that.
Over by the pile so they can see how high these are, so people have a
concept. They're probably close to 20 feet.
Oh, it's more than 20 feet. That's got to be 30.
I used to run them around 24. It was comfortable.
Yeah.
You get over 24 feet tall and they get squirrely.
Yeah. So we're going to walk down to the other end so you guys can see the volume of wood that's here. And this will all be awesome firewood if you're a firewood person. But this is all going to end up being paper.
Yep, this is going to paper mill.
Yeah, so what mill are they shipping to now? Where does this go?
Probably shouldn't even say.
Okay, one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how long is this yard? Yards-wise?
The yard, I think, is 10 acres.
10 acres and solid wood.
So there's not much room left. I mean, it ain't full, but they're getting tight.
Yeah.
But break up, a lot of the roads are posted already, so this is kind of transition between hauling and not hauling. There's guys.
To give you an idea, like you said, that's all hardwood all the way there. We're going to go around the corner, and there's 15 rows that way, you said?
Yeah, 15, 16.
And then over here you got.
I didn't count those.
What, 16 rows there too?
Yeah.
So they still got room over here.
Yeah, they got room. I mean, I had one year I had a path right down the middle of the yard here. It was solid wood.
So twice as much as what's here easily.
And I was high that year. I mean, straight up high as I could go. That was miserable.
So you're saying that a lot of times they'd come in and trying to get rid of junk too, right? Guys who try to bring stuff in. And
every logger does it. You got to get rid of it somewhere.
And you had a certain percentage you would take, but then the good thing for you for firewood, there was stuff you guys couldn't take because it was too big.
Used to be, yeah, the one mill.
Gone.
Yeah, we would cull it out of the load, oversized. But now these mills they got now, they could take bigger wood, so there's very little, if any, oversized that I know of. I don't work here anymore. I mean, I'm looking at that right there. That's back in the day when I was working. That'd been called out.
Stuff in the front, yeah.
That bottom one, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's a huge piece of wood.
Well, that one up there is big. One up there is big. Some of this might actually be. Yeah.
But anyways, yeah.
So you used to run one of these machines.
That machine right there, that L35 was the last machine I ran here.
And that can pick up how much in one scoop?
That's got a little bit smaller bucket on it, like a I think it might be like a 3/4 of a cord, maybe,
Yeah.
versus a cord or a 1/4.
Your big one, you could do a 1/4.
I had them buckets right there, them are 1/4. I had a 1/4 on my machine. It was better. It was more easy to handle. Easy. So wrecking trucks, breaking stakes. This one's a little bit. It's a smaller bucket, but it's a faster machine, so it's about the same difference
Right.
as far as load and unloading time. You're making more swings, but you got less wood.
Right. Give an idea. And this thing goes up, right?
Yeah, the cab rises.
Rises up. Give them an idea. We'll go stand. Have Kenny stand in front of the bucket. You get an idea of the size of how big the bucket is. And this is not a big bucket. This is.
Yeah, I hated this bucket.
Hit.
Well, you want to tap on the wood. See, the old buckets, the bang plate was flush with the jaws.
Yeah.
This sticks out. So when you go to tap, all you're hitting is this little plate
Oh, yeah.
instead of the whole jaw.
Right.
And a lot of times you're coming into like the rail car and stuff, you're catching this because you're looking at your wood down here. You're not looking at this, and you catch a stake. You boom.
Yeah.
You get used to it after a while, but I hated this bucket.
Huh.
Like you get used to it.
Yeah. What do these machines go for new?
This one, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. This one was probably 5. And the one I had new would have been like closer to 8.
Yeah. So now we're up to the front of the piles here. Well, up front, we still got to go around the corner yet.
And that's hundreds of thousands, not.
Yep, hundreds of thousands. Yeah, 800,000. Yeah. This is a bang plate they lay there. So you
Yeah,
can straighten
that's
the
a
logs
bang plate for straightening out your
up.
wood,
So you
yeah.
wake up everybody in town.
I get to listen to that every morning.
They still do it, huh?
Yeah. Well, some guys are rammy and they think they get to try to drive that thing through the pile. All you got to do is tap on it gently, open your bucket a little bit. There's a little finesse involved. There's some guys that don't have that. You can tell when that guy's running.
So now we're out to the front here. So log trucks, first thing they do is they come in, they go in on the scale and get weighed, right?
Yep.
And after they're weighed, then they go and load, they come back and weigh again.
Yeah, they weigh in, they weigh out.
And they like snow because they can kick off all their snow and they get paid for the snow on the machine.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Sometimes they'll knock off 2,000 pounds of slush before they leave. They like that.
But they also pay the price.
In the summertime, when the wood sits and it dries out, they lose
money.
on the other end.
Right, right. So there's a rail right here. It used to load rail cars. So
They still do. They started up again.
Yeah.
They didn't load cars here for quite a few years.
But you like the rail cars because you could get rid of a lot of wood fast and you have to
Well,
wait for truckers.
You could get rid of 350 cords at a shot and only had to deal with one guy on the train.
Yeah,
Instead of 12 cords at a time and 50 truck drivers that got to make their rounds.
yeah,
So that's reject Buer pine right there. That's what that is.
yeah, yeah. There's some birch in there.
12 footers. Yeah, there's some white birch, hardwood. It's really a lot of hardest cherry right there.
Oh, no, there's one. There's some more
Some more there.
Yeah, see the color.
What I haven't seen in here is oak. So I'm guessing they no longer take any oak. I don't see any oak in here. But we don't have a lot of oak in this area either.
Right. Hard maples primarily.
Hard maples, yeah, dominant. There is a lot of ash, but they have a limit on how much ash they can bring in here, I guess. And I'm looking at pile 2. I'm not seeing any basswood, so maybe they don't take any basswood
Yeah.
or very little. I don't know because I don't work here anymore.
Yeah. So they'd bring you a string of cars like this here, and you would be sitting right here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
And you would
6.
load. How many cars could you load in what amount of time
It's about a half hour a car.
per car?
Yeah.
So if they bring you a string of 10 cars, it's kind of a day's work.
5 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. And how many cords fit on one car?
Depends on the cars. These cars, I think these are probably like 33 cords.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
But they don't load them all the top anymore either. I used to load right to the top. So evidently this railroad doesn't allow that
I don't want to.
because they only load to that bar.
Yeah. I see that.
And then we did have some cars that had 7 bunks. These are 6 bunkers. And then we had double mega cars that were 12 bunks long.
So there's a bunch of wood here.
Yeah, nothing special.
Yeah,
piles
it's special.
Oh my golly, there's some basswood up there. Finally seen some.
Yeah. So now they got some rows behind here that are a little bit higher, like another 10 feet, looks like.
Well, yeah, you don't put your outside row to max height.
So tell them the story of the dominoes.
Well, so we generally always start our rows by the tracks because most of the wood would always go in the cars. Yeah. So we set up our piles. They could fit one, maybe two more rows in here, one for sure. So we would pack everything heavy to the tracks because most of the wood went on the cars. So that we loaded trucks, so we'd load on the other side of the pile. So these piles are all starts here, and then everything gets piled from that side.
Yeah.
Okay, the next row, the next row, the next row, the next row. So all those rows are kind of
pushing,
coming this way. Well, we got down to one single row one time, and I seen it was leaning a little bit. Yeah. And I thought, well, I'll just tap on it and I'll try to get it to.
And how long was it?
Straighten out. Oh, it was probably 150 feet long.
So all the way down there?
Not quite that long. That's farther than that. That's probably 300 feet.
Yeah, that's got to be.
But it was like 150 cords.
350 feet.
So I hit it a couple times, and the whole pile went. Oof, oof.
The whole row, all the way down.
Oh yeah, it looked cool going down. It's not fun to pick up.
I wish I would have had that on film.
That would have been a good video.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit! It took me a week to pick it up because you can't just sit there and pick it up because you got other stuff to do. So
did you try to pick it up and load it right away to get rid of it too?
Yeah, as much as I could. Yeah. But it takes time. It's just a mess because it's all standing on end like this.
Yeah. So the company you worked for at the time was Consolidated Paper, and then it was Stora Enso, and then it was what?
Let's see. It was Consolidated Papers, Stora Enso, New Page.
Yeah.
New Page went bankrupt, and they sold to Verso.
Yeah.
Verso went bankrupt.
Yep.
And that's when I got retired.
Yeah.
At the end during COVID, they shut the mill down.
Yeah.
And now it's changed names one more time again to another mill.
Right. So. And what was the most amount of cords of wood that paper mill used in a year? What was like?
I don't know what they used in a year. I think they ran, seems to me it was 2,000 cords a day.
2,000 cords a day?
A day,
and
every day.
And they run 365
days a year.
So that means they're going to be probably 800 full cords. I mean
800,000.
800,000 cords.
Yes.
So pushing 1 million cords.
Yep. Every year.
Jeez.
You think where's it all go, right?
Yeah. A lot of it. Well, wrong by me. It's Kimberly Clark and Scott and all that kind of stuff. So most of it goes down the toilet.
Yeah.
It's all.
So the paper these guys make now, I'm not even sure what they make. I don't know. Got to work here tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the products that made where I live is toilet paper, tissue,
napkins,
paper plates, paper cups, everything you can make out of paper. A lot of it labeled stuff. Our other brother works in the mill where they make labels, so anything that goes out of labels for products. A lot of it goes for cardboard boxes. A lot of run by me. A lot of the corrugated stuff is made down by me. So anything, when you people order stuff on Amazon, it's coming. This is the boxes.
A lot of that Amazon stuff is
boxes,
China boxes. You know that real cheap cardboard you stick your finger through? That's all made in China.
Yeah, I know.
China does not make good cardboard.
That's because that's a lot of recycled paper.
Yes, it's already junk.
Is stuff that we're sending our used paper, and then the problem, a lot of people don't realize the fibers break down. They can't make good paper out of it anymore.
Right. You got to have virgin fiber, like right here. You're looking at it.
So there you go. You got to see the Woodyard. If you want to see some videos, we got some videos probably from 2-3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago almost now.
Yeah,
of Kenny unloading and loading trucks. So you had trucks a lot of times. You'd get here in the morning, you'd have a lineup of how many trucks waiting for you.
Sometimes I've seen as many as 50 trucks waiting.
All lined up.
Oh, it's terrible.
And they want to be unloaded right now so you can get another load.
Well, that's working up in a Superior yard. And them guys all coming out of Minnesota all got no loaders.
Right.
Because they can't haul any weight up there, like down here as much. Yeah. So they just say, well, they'd sit in line. Yeah. And I can remember seeing a double row of headlights we go in at 4 in the morning, didn't get light out till like 8, in December, January. For hours and hours. The line never went away. As fast as you could bail, it was.
Jeez.
It
That's why
sucked.
you like guys that could come on and unload themselves.
Oh
and
yeah,
come
put
and
it
go.
over there.
Yeah, just point.
But the Minnesota guys, oh, I don't get paid for that. They just stand and put their boom up. They wait in line because they get paid by the hour.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they're still unloading them.
yeah.
Whatever.
All right, there you go. You got to see some wood today. That's all we got for today. We're going to do some garage work today. See you tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. Good night, Irene.